Hey everybody, Aaron Bishop here with the Bishop's Blurb. In Matthew chapter 5, we read what has become the go-to passage for pronomians. Matthew 5:17 through 18. Do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have not come to abolish them, but to fulfill them. For truly I say to you, until heaven and earth have passed away, not an iota or a dot will pass from the law until all is accomplished. Until heaven and earth pass away, not an iota will pass from the Torah until it is all accomplished. Now, when an antinomian is confronted with this passage, they'll point to that final word, accomplished, and they'll turn to John 19:30, and they say, when Jesus cried out, "It is finished" on the cross, that is what he meant, that he was pointing to the law and the prophets passing away. Jesus said, "It's finished." Obviously, this is what he's talking about, right? Not so fast. Let's examine the word that is being used in these passages. In Matthew 5, the word that's translated as accomplished is the word ginomai. It's a word that has a huge amount of room when it comes to translation. It can mean to cause to begin, to become, to be assembled, to be completely fashioned. And so it moves into the realm of completion or brought to pass or to be done with a project. An entire range of meaning from to begin a project to finishing a project and many places in between. In John 19, however, the word that's translated as finished is telio, a word we looked at in a past teaching, which means to come to an end in many ways, or even to be the goal of something. One is a process of creation that's being brought to completion. The other is a goal that's reached through a process. So why am I making a big deal of this? Well, it's what's said just before "until all is accomplished" in Matthew 5 that should really inform our interpretation of this verse. What is it? Until heaven and earth pass away, until creation is unmade. You know what? We have a passage in Scripture that speaks of the unmaking of heaven and earth in Revelation chapter 20. In Revelation chapter 20, the current iteration of heaven and earth, they pass away, death passes away. This current creation is gone. And in chapter 21, a new heaven and a new earth is created. And God comes and dwells with man in this new creation. And in verse 6, we read this, Revelation 21, verse 6. And he said to me, "It is done. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end." There it is. The Alpha and the Omega from chapter 1 of Revelation is Jesus. So in chapter 21, it's Jesus who says it is done after the new heavens and the new earth, after heaven and earth have passed away. What a coincidence! Or is it? Heaven and earth passed away, death defeated forever, a new heaven and a new earth, God dwelling with man? It is accomplished. It is done. It's the same word as in Matthew chapter 5, ginomai. All of Scripture, all of prophecy is accomplished in that day. So when we go looking for a cessation of the Torah and the death of Jesus using this phrase, "it is finished," we miss it. We miss the point. When Jesus cried that out, he is saying that all that was necessary for him to accomplish in his first ministry was done. He had fulfilled the scriptures that were pertinent to his ministry. That's it. He's not saying heaven and earth had passed away. He's not saying all of Scripture was complete. He is saying his ministry is finished and that he had successfully completed all that was expected of him as the Messiah. He wasn't removing the Torah. He's not removing the standard for obedience. He's not removing heaven and earth. Look around, they're still here. His ministry of reconciliation was accomplished. But when we interpret the Bible using the Bible, we see this isn't the case. There is still more to come. God is not finished with mankind yet, and not one iota or one dot will pass from the Torah until that time.